This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
I got to warn you right off the back, I am seething right now. Normally, I get a little worked up watching the news, reading the news, scrolling. A lot to be pissed off about right now. But generally, I have my couple of cups of Callahan coffee. I relax and I sit down and we do the show. As I'm reading the news, following the news this morning, I am just pissed off, irate, infuriated. There is so much to be absolutely disgusted with this morning. And I'm not even talking about the war or, the Democrats screaming about this illegal, immoral war, which they would have supported 100% if there were a Democrat in the White House, of course. We'll get to that. But I want to start with this because we have sat through months, hell, years of the Epstein files. And I was on board with releasing the Epstein files years ago. I was talking about this years ago, but it became a real hot political topic. Oh, right about January 20th, 2025. As soon as the Democrats and the media thought they could get Trump, it became a top priority. Release the Epstein files. Why? Oh, the victims. The survivors deserve justice. These sexual predators, these creeps, these men who were visiting the island and hanging with Epstein, they should be brought to justice. We demand accountability. How many times do we hear that from mostly Democrats and the media? I get these tweets at me every damn day, pictures of Trump with Epstein and Trump's a rapist and why are you protecting child rapists? And I was on board, release the files, expose them all, arrest them, protect the victims, protect the survivors. I'll still do that. Some of us will still do that, scream for justice for survivors of sexual assault, sexual misconduct. Well, there are at least 357 members of the House of Representatives who can never say that again. We are done listening to people in Congress, men, women in Congress, mostly Democrats, again, but lots of Republicans. We're done listening to their self-righteous, pious, sanctimonious lectures about justice for the victims. F you, every single one of you. Here's what happened yesterday. There was a vote in the House on an effort by Nancy Mace, who is sometimes really effective. Sometimes she's off the rails. She was pretty good in the Tim Walz hearings yesterday, which we'll get to, I promise. But this is sickening. This is one of those stories you just gives you like a pit in your stomach, and you realize just what scum we send to Washington to represent us. And a vote of 357 to 65, the House moved to refer the matter to the House Ethics Committee, a move that essentially kills the effort. What is the effort? It was designed to expose to the public this little slush fund they have in Congress, where they pay off victims of sexual assault and sexual harassment by House members. So your congressman may be out there grabbing everything in his office, harassing interns and underlings. He may be touching them, maybe making them really uncomfortable. And when that intern, that aide, that underling sues, you pay them off. I believe the number that the tab is up to $18 million of taxpayer money that has gone to settle these suits or these complaints by members of Congress. So congressmen and women, I assume it's mostly men, sexually harassing people. They get sued, they get charged, they get accused, and you pay them off. That's disgusting enough. But Nancy Mace and a handful of others said, let's make this public. We've listened to you for the last year. Talk about how we have to make the Epstein files public, how the survivors deserve justice, how we have to stop protecting these predators. These same people yesterday voted to keep this under wraps. Let's not make, let's not embarrass our colleagues. 357 of them, every one of them was either a sexual predator or someone protecting a sexual predator. Those are the only two options. And by the way, this is so much worse when you think about it. I mean, the Epstein survivors, for the most part, they got paid off. They're getting their day. They could go right now. Hell, they have people and members of Congress on their side. They can name their predators. The people who were sexually harassed or assaulted in Congress by congressmen, they get a payoff. I assume they sign an NDA, and it all stays secret. It all stays between them. This is the ultimate old boy network, sleazy move by old boys and girls, men and women. Hell, I'm just looked up my representatives here. Catherine Clark, Minority Whip. Seth Moulton, protecting sexual predators. Ayanna Pressley, yes, my congresswoman, who never stops screaming about girls and women, who hates, predatory men. She voted to protect them yesterday. She voted to just keep paying off these women. But don't let anyone know who's doing this. This is sickening. Here is perhaps the best member of Congress, Tim Burchett, walking out of the hearing or the meeting with Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert. This is all you get. You get these three renegades walking out of the meeting with the phone, telling you what's going on. I just watched hours of cable news. I've been online a lot as usual. Gets no coverage. They don't even talk about it. Every friggin' day for months we heard about Epstein. And God knows it's great to see these creeps exposed. Leon Black and Les Wexner and Reid Hoffman and Bill Gates and Larry Summers. All these Democrat creeps are getting exposed. Prince Andrew. That's great. I'm all for it. Let's keep going. But the people who are screaming about it, some of them are guilty of these same crimes, and we don't get to know. No one gets this is so sleazy. This is so scummy. And we don't even, I haven't seen one person standing up and screaming about it on the steps of the Capitol. All we get are these three, these three pariahs walking out of the Capitol talking about it. Here is Burchett, Mace, and Boebert yesterday after this disgusting vote.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. The House just did the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. We just voted to cover up sexual harassment of employees by members, if you can believe that. I got the sponsor right here with me, got Boebert. Y'all tell them what happened.
It's shameful. They voted against my resolution that would reveal members of Congress who sexually harass employees on the Hill, women on the Hill, in the campaigns, lobbyists, etc. Shameful. So I don't want to hear.
They sent it to the ethics committee. So a bunch of congressmen are going to investigate.
So
themselves.
Let it go get hidden, right?
Yeah, this is exactly where bills go to die. So her privileged resolution is being sent to the ethics committee for members of Congress to investigate themselves. And remember, this is your tax dollars that were used in this hush money.
Yeah.
Yes,
How many millions are in that thing? They said there's millions.
Some years there's like 4 or 5 million that went to a slush fund that paid paid for members of Congress with your tax dollars to allow them to go sexually harass people on the Hill. And then the second thing is I want to say is I don't want to hear another word about Epstein or Epstein victims by a single person, Republican or Democrat, that voted against revealing sexual harassment.
Well, let's get that list. How many people? 49 of us voted to make it public, right?
Yep, to actually have transparency.
49 or 50.
And this is the crap
Barely
that we see up here all the
10%.
time. We are actually standing for victims. And we just saw with Tony Gonzalez, his staffer, who killed herself, lit herself on fire. The worst way to die. And this was part of the same fund that is being covered up. Did he pay her? Maybe she never got a check, but she doesn't have a life anymore.
You'll never know. Anyway, we need transparency. Thank y'all for sending me here.
I love you.
There you go. There you go. Tony Gonzalez, conservative, Republican rep from Texas, had an affair. I believe he's married. I believe he's a good Christian man. I believe he has 6 kids. Had an affair with a staffer. She was apparently a scorned lover. She set herself on fire, killed herself. He's running. He's in a runoff, I believe, to keep his seat in Texas. Guess how Tony Gonzalez voted on this resolution? Yes, that would be correct. He voted to keep it quiet, keep it from the public. It would be bad enough if we weren't paying for it. They might have paid this poor woman before she killed herself, I don't know, $3, $4, $5 million of your money. And these Congress people, not only will they scream about Epstein, they'll scream about wasting your tax dollars. You know, they're concerned about your tax money while they pay millions to sexual predators, sexual harassers in their own midst. Why is this not a bigger deal? Why are more people not talking about this, calling out these freaking frauds? Well, I'm going to keep the list. Massey tweeted it out, the list, the vote of all the yes and all the no's. I'm going to keep that list. And every time these frauds start screaming about Epstein, we have to put a little asterisk next to the name. If Ayanna Pressley or Catherine Clark or Seth Moulton starts screaming about we must fight for the survivors, the victims, we can't let these sexual predators get away with it. We're going to tell you. I am certainly going to tell you whether they voted to protect the scum in their own midst, these friggin' deviants who are side by side working with them every day. Did they vote to protect them? Oh, they're different. Why are they different? Why is this not a scandal? Oh, it's just so friggin' maddening. Well, it wasn't. Everyone, all the scum in our political class is not getting away with it. At least I hope not. Let's get to my favorite performance of the day. As I said, I've seen, I don't know, 3 or 4 of the movies nominated for Best Picture this year. This was better than all of them. By the way, we'll do this next week. I just looked at all the predictions from Vanity Fair and Rolling Stone on who's going to win the Academy Award Best Picture. One battle after another is the heavy favorite. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Let me just tell you, I haven't seen it yet. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. It's a mess. It's disjointed. It makes no sense. And DiCaprio's nominated and Sean Penn's not. Sean Penn's character was terrible. This movie is awful. And it's not just because, they make ICE out to be the bad guys and the illegal aliens are the good guys. I knew that going in, but I thought a movie with that big a budget and these big stars would at least make some sense. It's friggin' awful. Anyway, I didn't want to get off on that. I want to get to Tampon Tim and this hearing yesterday, which was just great. And it's sad. It's gratifying to see these guys exposed. He was being grilled with Keith Ellison, this criminal Antifa member who cosplays as an attorney general. He was next to him. The both of them got grilled good and hard. And you sit there as I'm watching, I'm saying, you just proved they're criminals. They are criminals. And they're not like stealing a couple of bucks, or they're not just corrupt. A lot of corrupt people. They are stealing or facilitating the theft of billions of tax dollars. This is not some minor, could be the biggest scandal, political scandal, at least on the state level, the biggest theft of taxpayer monies we've ever seen. And it was facilitated by the governor. And you know what the problem is? He's still governor. He finished with his hearing and got on a plane back to Minnesota, back into the governor's mansion, back into his big palatial office, and he's still running the state after they proved, to me at least, that he committed many, many felonies. This guy is as dirty, as guilty as they come. What does it take to remove a Democrat from office? What does it take to lead to? What does it take to bring charges? And James Comer, the head of the oversight committee, said that that Pam Bondi and her team are on the ground in Minnesota putting the case together. How long does that take? There was one moment. Give me the Nancy Mace. We got a bunch of clips, and they're all great. The Republicans, for all their faults, have some really good interrogators. I'm not sure she's top of the list because, like I said, Nancy Mace is a little crazy, and she went off this ridiculous tangent asking Tim Walz what a woman is. I understand that's a good gotcha question for these wacky liberals, but this wasn't the time or place, and Walz didn't even play along. Walz looks like a beaten man. He looks like he just went, to 12 rounds with Tyson. He looks like a defeated man because he knows they got him. I watched in real time him lie under oath. He lied under oath yesterday. I believe that is a crime. And he, again, just went back to work. Keith Ellison, they proved Keith Ellison committed a quid pro quo with the criminals who stole, the Somali criminals who are in jail. They gave him money and he took steps to stop or impede the investigation. That was absolutely proven yesterday. But here's Mace. When you think about the numbers and just million, billion, 100 million here, the autism program, that's just one of the scandals. The autism program stole at least 400 million under Tim Walz while Tim Walz was governor. And it was in plain sight. And whistleblower after whistleblower called him out. What did Walz do? He fired the whistleblowers. He threatened the whistleblowers. That is not just criminal. That's like evil. That is evil. You have someone say, listen, these Somalis are stealing. They're stealing millions. These autism centers are fake. And the governor and the attorney general said, do not bring that up again or we'll call you racist. We'll suspend you. We'll fire you. We'll demote you. They did that. We know they did that. There were over 100 whistleblowers telling the truth about what's going on. And it just kept going on. This is 7 years of the all of them under when Walz came into office. It started up till last year, and the numbers are staggering. And it's not autism; it's theft. It's robbery of the American taxpayers. Here's Mace with Tampon Tim.
How much money was spent on autism in Minnesota in 2017, Governor?
I don't have those numbers in front of me, Congresswoman.
Did you prepare for this hearing today? Did you do any preparation
I take
for this
Congress
hearing today?
seriously.
And you've seen the numbers about autism fraud in Minnesota. So we're going to do some Minnesota math with you today, okay? Are you ready? How much money was spent on 2017 for autism in Minnesota? How much?
I don't know. I wasn't the governor.
Okay. Did you not just say that you prepared for this hearing today? $1 million, okay? A quick Google search or using your AI could tell you $1 million was spent. How much money was spent on autism in Minnesota in 2024?
I don't have the number in front of me.
Were you governor in 2024?
I was, but I'm not the
Okay,
head
so
of the
your
HHS.
excuse before that you didn't know what 2017 autism numbers were because you were not governor, and today you can't answer the numbers about 2024 as governor, and you still said you prepared for this hearing today. It's unbelievable. $343 million was spent in 2024. What percent increase is that from 1 million to 343 million? What percentage increase is that?
I'm not here to be your prop. Go ahead and tell me.
Are you governor of Minnesota or not?
Yes, I am. I'm
Okay,
not.
well,
I'm
when
not
I'm
a prop
governor of
for a
South
member of
Carolina,
Congress.
you can sure as hell bet that I'm going to know the math. The math is 34,200% increase, an increase of 343 times what it was in this time period. Do you know the number of children in Minnesota?
I know that Minnesota ranked as a top 3 state
Okay,
for children
what is
in
the
the last
total
year.
population in Minnesota?
5.7 million.
Okay. What is the total population of children in Minnesota?
I don't have the number in front of me right now.
Are you governor of Minnesota?
I know 400,000 were cut out of healthcare last
Okay,
week by
that's
the
not-
actions you made.
Are you governor of Minnesota?
I am.
And you don't know the number of children
I
residing
don't
in
have the
Minnesota?
specific numbers.
It is incredible. I mean, what else do you need to know? She points out the money spent for autism centers for treating autistic children went up 34,000% under Tim Walz. Gee, do you think there was just an outbreak of autism? Must have been those vaccines. What is going on here? She just exposed a scandal of epic proportions. And again, he gets on a plane, he goes back to Minnesota, and continues to oversee the scandal. We need arrests, and I don't mean 6 months, a year from now when he's out of office. It has to happen like tomorrow. This has to stop. And then they have to move to other states because this scam, this Democrat-run scam is happening everywhere. Autism centers, they're taking your Medicaid money. This is not just Minnesota taxpayers. It's American taxpayers and stealing it in plain sight. It was just one tense exchange after another. We could do this all day. What else we got? We got Jim Jordan catching him in a lie. Jordan is really good at this, and Walz is really bad at this. Mace is right. Felt like he wasn't prepared for this. And I'll tell you why. Because he's a Democrat in a Democrat state, and he doesn't get tough questions. The Minnesota media, for the most part, is in the tank. They are not covering the news. They're covering it up. They're covering up the crimes committed by their governor, by their attorney general. And that ended yesterday. Again, this is the job of the oversight committee. The job of Pam Bondi is to arrest this criminal, and that has to happen. I can't stress enough how pissed people are going to be if this guy never ends up in handcuffs. Here's Jordan with Tinkerbell Tim.
The payments are restarted. Why didn't you tell the truth about why you restarted the payments?
Well, Chairman, we did tell you. And Feeding Our Future grew because of the pandemic. And
I didn't ask that question. I said, why didn't you tell the truth about why you restarted the payments? The payments stopped because there were concerns, obviously, it wouldn't stop the payments. Then they're restarted a month later. What was the reason for restarting the payments?
my understanding was the agency believed that the court had required them to make those payments.
And that was false, wasn't it? You repeated
think
that.
that
You
is-
said that, didn't you? You
I
said that's
don't
why the
think-
reason you said the reason you restarted is because the court ordered you to do so. Is that right?
I don't believe that is settled yet, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, I think it is because the court did something that I don't know if I've ever seen it. They issued a statement saying you were wrong in what you were saying. This is from the court. It says Feeding Our Future versus Minnesota Department of Education correcting reports and statements by Governor Tim Walz concerning orders issued by the court. Here's what the judge says. Governor Tim Walz told the media that the Minnesota Department of Education attempted in payments to FOF because of possible fraud, but that Judge Guthman ordered payments to continue in April 2021. Next sentence. That is false. So you said something that wasn't true. He further states this, Judge Guthman, the court says this, Judge Guthman never ordered the Department of Education to resume payments to Feeding Our Future in April 2021, or at any other time. So I want to know, why didn't you tell the truth?
Congressman, the attorneys at the Department of Education interpreted that differently. Both of those judges are no longer on the bench. And I think that
the very
interpretation.
first sentence, the first 7 words. This is not some unnamed source talking to the New York Times. This is not some anonymous source talking to whatever your Minnesota Star Tribune or whatever your paper is. This is the court speaking. First sentence, first 7 words. Due to inaccurate statements by the governor, Ramsey County District Court judge has issued and authorized this following news release. That's pretty straightforward. So the court's lying?
I can't tell you, Congressman, but the interpretation
somebody's lying. Somebody's lying, because you can't say the court ordered you to restart the payments, and then the court says we didn't order you to restart the payments. So either you're lying or the court's lying. And
I know. He is not good at this. This guy served in Congress. This guy is 60 years old. You think he'd learn, but he can't. He's not smart enough to get away with this. And here was the argument you got from Walz and Ellison all day, all through this hearing, was it's cruel for the Trump administration to shut off the payments to Minnesota. By the way, the money they're withholding is a small fraction of the Medicaid payments the state is getting. I mean, it's like 1% or something. And they said that's cruel. What they should do is keep giving the money to the scammers. Just keep giving the money to these criminals. And, kids are going to starve. They didn't give a shit about kids when the Somalis were stealing all this money. They didn't give about the kids that didn't exist in the child care centers. They didn't care about that at all. But now they care about kids, hungry kids. This is just so, revealing when you think about it. These are Democrats who pretend to care about the marginalized, and they exploited poor kids, handicapped, autistic kids. They use these programs to enrich themselves. Hell, and this came up in the hearing, and what did the Somalis do? They sent the money back to Somalia, hundreds of millions of dollars. And Democrats are defending that because if we don't keep giving them our money, kids will go hungry. They're such liars and such frauds. Here is my favorite congressman, right up there with Tim Burchett, Brandon Gill from Texas. I hope I live long enough to see him in the White House. He's so good. And obviously, the tool they use, as Democrats always use, is accuse you of racism. Oh, if you point out the Somalis are stealing, robbing us blind, you're racist, you're transphobic, or whatever, not transphobic, Islamophobic. Gill just nails him on this. Go ahead.
Yep. And would you agree that as governor, ultimately you're responsible if tax dollars are defrauded?
Yes, I would agree.
Yep. Would you also agree that calling somebody racist is a serious accusation?
If they are racist, I think it's
I'm
probably
asking
accurate.
is that a serious accusation to make about somebody?
I think it's just an observation of reality.
All right. Well, let's go there. Is it racist for a government official to identify fraud?
No.
No. Is it Islamophobic?
To identify fraud?
To identify fraud?
No, I don't believe it would be.
How come multiple whistleblowers have said that your administration told them not to say anything about widespread fraud across multiple agencies because doing so would be considered racist or Islamophobic?
I can't speak to it because it's not anything I would say.
Well, that's what your administration has said and has told whistleblowers. And as you just testified, the buck stops with you. It's what you stated in your statement whenever you announced you weren't running again.
He is just so pathetic. He was almost vice president. That was almost our vice president, by the way, for a president who was a moron. I mean, he could have been president. That is frightening. Every criticism of Trump has to be qualified that if we didn't have Trump, we would have Kamala and we would have this buffoon in the White House. God, did we dodge one there. This whole hearing was spectacular. And again, it's great, but it's also very, very frustrating. These criminals are still in office. That has to end quick. Get on it, Pam Bondi. I'm glad they rounded up all of Don Lemon's co-conspirators. All 39 of the people who stormed the church have been arrested. They grabbed 2 of them. They were overseas on vacation, got arrested, brought back to face charges. That's wonderful. Now let's get to the governor and the attorney general. These are the worst criminals in the state. All right. That's only one of the reasons, or 2 of the reasons I am seething. We have to get to this story in Virginia. You thought you were a little pissed off. I was a little pissed off. Just wait till I tell you about that. And we've talked about it for a few days now. The latest on the murder of Stephanie Minter, the 41-year-old mother stabbed to death at a bus stop by an illegal alien who had been arrested 40 times. The latest on this will just make your blood boil. And the new hope, the new Beto for the Democrats, the Texas nominee for the Senate. They thought they could elect this guy, pick this guy over Jazzy Crockett, and it would give them a shot. Well, as soon as the results were in, the opposition research came out. This James Talarico clown, he is worse than Jazzy. He has no shot. That's the good news. We're going to tell you about the guy the Democrats just picked to run for Senate. What an absolute disaster. We'll get to that and more. But first.
Excuse me.
You don't always realize how bad your sheets have gotten until you finally replace them. If your sheets are piling, thinning, slipping, or overheating, that's your sign that it's time to upgrade to Boll & Branch. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made from 100% organic cotton and designed to hold their shape, stay breathable, and feel luxuriously soft night after night. You'll fall asleep faster, stay comfortable all night, and actually notice the difference the moment you get into bed. And they don't wear out. They get softer after every wash. The fastest and simplest way to upgrade your sleep is replacing your sheets. It's a one-time upgrade that pays off every single night. No setup, no habit building, no guesswork, just noticeably better sleep. They're buttery soft from the start, get softer over time, and help you relax the moment you lie down. You'll notice the Boll & Branch difference immediately. Boll & Branch sheets are made from moments of unmatched comfort. This is sleep you don't compromise on. We got our new Boll & Branch sheets, and I can tell you, I enjoy going to bed. Didn't know I needed them, but I love my new Boll & Branch sheets. Sleep sound with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com/Jerry. Code word Jerry. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Jerry. Code word Jerry to unlock 15%. Exclusions apply. As soon as the results were in Tuesday night, James Talarico defeated Jasmine Crockett immediately. Obviously, we were lamenting the result. We're going to miss Jazzy. Lots of people thought she was more beatable. So lots of patriots, lots of good Americans were happy to see, were not happy to see Jazzy lose and this guy, James Talarico, prevail in the Democrat primary. Well, about 5 minutes after they announced the results, we got to learn all about this guy. This is amazing that they thought this was the guy who was going to turn Texas blue. Man, Democrats, you got to do a better job, man. You're not sending your best. This was hilarious. So this guy, this clown, this absolute fool, who is a minister, a Christian minister, I guess, but not a real one. He's a fake minister. He's a fake Christian. You don't think so? You don't believe me? I mean, he gives a good sermon. He speaks well. He's completely out of his mind. This guy is just, he's 36 years old. He went to Harvard. He's well educated, graduated from the seminary. He's a complete screwball. And he's as woke as they come. If he were running in 2020, I'd say maybe the country's that far gone. This ain't going to work anymore. It's just not. We told you yesterday, he thinks God is binary. Well, check this list out. I'll give the list and we'll get to Talarico. He says I can't even read some of the stuff he believes. He says prison is violence. God is binary. He doesn't say women. He says people with uteruses. He says the China virus is hate speech. He says there are 6 genders, and he says Fauci is a great American hero. It goes on like this. He says he justifies abortion by saying Mary had to give her consent to conceive Jesus. So that means every woman has to give their consent whether to give birth. He justifies through bibs, through the Bible, abortion, and he calls himself a Christian minister. This is one day of opposition research. I think my favorite has to be we have to concern ourselves with trans abortions. A Texas politician, a Texas candidate for Senate, wants us all to fight hard for trans abortions. Here's just a few snippets from this lunatic.
Before we go further, I want to acknowledge that our trans community needs abortion care too. Defending trans Texans is something we have to do every day.
Something we have to do every day. Fight for trans abortions. He might have a shot in California. He might have a shot in Massachusetts. Texas? Here's more from James Talarico, the new Beto Jr., telling you what his priorities are. Go ahead.
I want us all to be aware of is that modern science obviously recognizes that there are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6, which honestly, Representative Hefner surprised me too. Surprised me too, because I am not well versed in this issue area. I'm not a scientist. I'm a politician, a lot worse than a scientist.
He's wearing a mask, of course. No one else is wearing a mask, just him. And he said, there are, in fact, 6 genders. Why didn't someone name them? So there are 6. There's not 72. There's not 2. There's 6 genders, according to this Christian minister. Here's a guy. This is incredible. I love, attacks inside the House. Literally, this guy served with Talarico. His name is Steve Toth. He's going to be a congressman from Texas. He's the one who defeated Dan Crenshaw. He's going to represent Texas in the House in January. Here he is, and he knows Talarico. He served with him. He's familiar with all this insanity that we're just learning about now. Listen to how he describes the Democrat nominee for Senate in Texas. Go ahead.
When I put forth legislation to secure our elections, it gets killed by the Democrats. When I put forth legislation to end the social transition of children, it gets killed by the Democrats. It's evil. Talarico is part of that group. I served with James Talarico from 2019 through to today. This guy is as evil as they come. There is a darkness to this man's life that if you doubt that there's a wickedness and an evil and a demonic presence in the world, you only have to look at James Talarico. He is an awful, awful person. Awful person.
Evil and darkness in this world, and it is James Talarico. God, I'm so glad he won. I mean, we knew Jazzy, we knew she's crazy, but she'd be a force to reckon with because she's, loud and obnoxious. This guy's kind of meek and wimpy and soft and spineless, and he has tweeted hundreds of times about white privilege. He tweets Black Lives Matter still. This guy is just nuts. It's going to be great. I'm hoping Ken Paxton is the nominee, wins the runoff, defeats that rhino, John Cornyn. But I'm a little nervous because Trump is going to make an endorsement and demand the other guy withdraw, quit the race. And the deep state is working hard for Cornyn. I'm praying Trump does the right thing and picks Paxton because Paxton supports him. Cornyn has not. Cornyn fought the border wall. He's an open borders guy. against the SAVE Act. He's the worst. He's off. He's 74 years old with a history of fighting Trump. And Trump is going to, if he endorses him, that is a big, big mistake. All right, I got to get to this Virginia story, which just put me over the edge. You're not going to believe. You are not going to believe the story of Abdul Jalal, the murderer who just stabbed an innocent woman to death at a Virginia bus stop. We've heard lots of horror stories about illegal alien crime. We hear them every day of the hundreds of thousands of Americans victims of violent illegal alien criminals. This is the worst. And I include Laken Riley and Jocelyn Nungaray and all, and Rachel Marin and Molly Tibbetts. Those are bad. Those are unspeakable, horrific. This is the worst. I will tell you about that. But first.
Excuse me.
A well-built wardrobe is about pieces that work together and hold up over time. That's what Quince does best. Premium materials, thoughtful design, and everyday staples that feel easy to wear and easy to rely on, even as the weather shifts. Quince has the everyday essentials I love, with quality that lasts. Organic cotton sweaters, polos for every occasion, lighter jackets that keep you warm in the changing seasons. The list goes on. Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middleman, so you're not paying brand markup, just quality clothing. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. Plus, they only partner with factories that meet rigorous standards for craftsmanship and ethical production. I got a couple of Quince shirts, and I'm telling you, I love them. They were inexpensive, and I'm a cheap bastard, so that matters. And they've held up really well after a few washes, good as new. So refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/Gerry for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/Gerry. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Gerry. Before I get to this infuriating Virginia story, I gotta mention one thing about Talarico. He has in common with me. We both have Fauci dolls. I got my little Fauci puppet. It's not the same. I got my Fauci puppet. Here it is. And I love it. I love my little Fauci finger puppet. And Talarico loves his Fauci doll. Look what he tweeted out at Christmas time a couple of years ago. This is unbelievable. He posted a picture of his Fauci doll. His Fauci doll has a mask on. Mine doesn't have a mask. What is wrong with you, Tony? Do you want to kill people? Where is your mask? Don't you care? He writes, I got the coolest action figure for Christmas. Thank you to all the healthcare superheroes working today. Let's help by getting vaxxed and boosted. This is Texas. This guy's tweeting about getting vaxxed and boosted and posting a picture of his Fauci doll. And Texas voters are going to show up and vote for him. I don't care who we nominate. I'm hoping for Paxson, but he can't win. Talarico cannot be the nominee. But let's get to Virginia. In case you weren't pissed off enough, this is just beyond infuriating, beyond maddening what is going on. Again, thank God we did the right thing in November 2024. Thank God we have Christine Ohm and ICE getting these criminals out of the country. But I think we can all conclude now that Democrats are never going to stop fighting for criminal illegal aliens. That is the position of the party. Do anything and everything possible to keep these monsters in our communities. And God knows there's been a lot of examples, a lot of stories, a lot of victims. Democrats don't care. They don't care. They will fight every day to keep drug dealers and gangbangers and murderers in your community. This is beyond any other story we have done. This is just insane. We told you about Abdul Jalal the last few days. He's the illegal alien from Sierra Leone who stabbed Stephanie Minter, a 41-year-old mother, to death at a bus stop. The two of them were on a bus. They got off the bus. He pulled out a knife and killed her. Why? It's because, I will tell you why. That's what he does. He stabs people. He's stabbed people for years. We told you his rap sheet, he's been arrested over 40 times. 40. And I'm not talking about, speeding or even DUI. We're talking about rape, assault. His rap sheet is a mile long. And this is according to the cops. The cops in Fairfax County have repeatedly emailed the DA, this Soros-backed scumbag, Steve Descano, repeatedly warning him he's going to kill someone. This has been going on for months or years. And here's an exact quote. You think I'm exaggerating? An exact quote. He has a, quote, history of stabbing community members. A history of stabbing community members. The DA not only fought to keep him in the country, he dropped the charges almost every time. 40 arrests, almost no prison time. They just kept dropping the charges, one after another. Rape, assault, pickpocketing. One charge after another, just dropped. You can go now, Mr. Jalot. You can go now. The cops kept telling the DA that he would kill someone, and he did. This is a report from the ABC station in Fairfax County. It's just mind-blowing how this is from NBC JLA in Fairfax County. It's a little long, but it's worth it, and it will blow your mind. Go ahead.
We begin with a breaking news alert.
Breaking now at 4 o'clock, 7 News was the first to report emails from Fairfax County Police warning the county's top prosecutor about an alleged repeat offender.
Yeah, this man, Abdul Jallo, is accused of murdering a mother at a bus stop last week. And today in Richmond, Republican senators blasted Governor Abigail Spanberger for not committing to notifying ICE about his release date.
We're asking Governor Spanberger to stop creating barriers to deportation, stop dismantling federal law enforcement partnerships, start cooperating fully with federal authorities to deport criminal illegal aliens from Virginia, especially repeat violent offenders like this person who was arrested for the death of Stephanie Minter.
And senators also called out Fairfax County's prosecutor for dropping charge after charge on this violent repeat offender over the years, returning him to the community where he then committed more crimes.
And that is the focus of our top story tonight. 7 News' Nick Minock just received documents showing police warned the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office repeatedly that this man was a deadly danger. So, Nick, were these warnings just ignored?
That's right, Michelle and Megan. Tonight we have proof that Fairfax County Police warned Fairfax County Commonwealth's Attorney Steve Descano's office over and over again about this illegal immigrant, Abdul Jallo, who has a lengthy criminal history in Fairfax County. Police told Descano's office that if he was released back into the community, he could harm someone again or even kill someone. So these emails lay out police concerns about this. And despite those warnings from police, Descano's office dropped charge after charge, allowing this man to walk free back into the community. Now, the first email was sent in May, then another in August, and finally in November, just 3 months before the murder of Stephanie Minter last week. And that last email, a Fairfax County police major wrote to Descano's office, quote, "I wanted to bring Mr. Jallo's release to your attention because Mr. Jallo is one of the repeat and violent offenders we discussed when we met. I wanted to get your background on why he is out so soon and ask if his prior suspended sentence of, I believe, 5 years was pursued by your office. Unfortunately, based on the station's numerous dealings with him, it is not a question of if, but rather when he will maliciously wound or worse again." The first email from last May said much of the same thing. Fairfax County Police emailed top prosecutors in Toscano's office saying Jallo has a long history of stabbing community members, has shown a blatant disregard for human life, and is a danger to the community. Now, Jallo has more than 40 past charges in Fairfax County, and Toscano's office has dropped almost every single one. Police say that they have had more than 100 encounters with this man, who DHS says is in the country illegally, and he's been in Fairfax County since he was 9 years old, an illegal immigrant from Sierra Leone. Now, if you want to read all...
You heard that correctly. A history of stabbing community members. And what do Democrats do? Release them, drop the charges. Would they do that for an American? No, they would not. I don't know what it will take, but this woman, Stephanie Minter, this innocent woman now dead, she has a son, she has siblings, she has family. They have to do everything to sue Steve Toscano. They should do a GoFundMe, do whatever it takes, hire the best lawyers. This Democrat DA, Soros-funded DA, killed Stephanie Minter. It couldn't be more clear. You saw the emails, you heard the story. 40 arrests, a history of stabbing people. And they just kept putting them on the street. And you want to know why? I will tell you why. The DA, this Steve Toscano scumbag, who got like $500,000 from Soros to win his little, minor down ballot election. Here's from his website. Whenever possible, Steve will make charging and plea decisions that limit or avoid immigration consequences. So a prosecutor, a district attorney, a county attorney admits on his website that he will make decisions of plea decisions and charging based on immigration. Does that mean that he'll favor Americans, which he should? No, that means he will favor illegals to help them avoid deportation. And to make it worse, the new governor, this fraud, Abigail Spanberger, who pretended she was a moderate and on day one announced 1 million tax hikes, gave the legislator a 300% pay increase and vowed to never work with ICE. Well, I'll give her credit for being honest. She will never work with ICE. She said she will not hand this guy over. This illegal alien from Sierra Leone with a history of stabbing people, with 40 arrests, who just murdered an innocent Virginia mother. She won't hand him over. She will protect him. There is no limit to the Democrats' effort to protect these monsters, these killers, these savages. You don't get more evil than Abdul Jallo. And Democrats look at him and say, yeah, we want him here. To quote Mayor Wu, you belong here. This is your home. Abdul, well, he'll hopefully be convicted of this murder, and then they will release him into the community. Who knows? Maybe he'll do, 5 years. This guy shows no reluctance to protect illegal alien murderers. God, this is just, I'm telling you, I saw this video, I got online, I started reading about it. That is all true. Everything you heard, accurate. That he has 40 arrests, rape charged, everything. Just kept dropping the charges and letting him go because he's an illegal. And that's who matters most to Democrats. All right, how much time do we have? I want to do this if I have a minute here, Ironhead. Let's play a little bit of this. This video, which went viral last night, is just amazing. As you know, we're at war with Iran right now. Iran, by the way, just attacked its 12th country in the last 5 days, Azerbaijan. They just fired a missile or drone into Azerbaijan. They have now shot a missile or drone at 12 different countries, most of the Muslim countries, if you thought they weren't isolated enough. But anyway, things are going well in Iran. Well, for today, it's day 5, we'll see what happens. But if you want to understand why we're there, why we're doing what we're doing, this is Marco Rubio, not from 2 days ago. We played that. That was good. This is from 11 years ago. Senator Marco Rubio on the Senate floor explaining exactly why we have to take steps to stop Iran, stop the threat to us and the neighboring countries and the free world. This is amazing. I mean, they should just post this, say, here it is. Here's why we're doing what we're doing. Listen to this.
Tennessee would like to close on this matter. I think everything that needs to be said about the details of this deal have already been said. I do want to be recorded for history's purposes before I know what was going to happen in regards to this if it goes through. Iran will immediately use the money that it's receiving in sanctions relief to begin to build up its conventional capabilities. It will establish the most dominant military power in the region outside of the United States, and it will raise the price of us operating in the region. They're going to build anti-access capabilities, rockets capable of destroying our aircraft carriers and ships. Continue to build these swift boats that are able to come on us, these fast boats that are able to swarm our naval assets. And they'll make it harder and harder for U.S. troops to be in the region. They'll also work with other terrorist groups in the region to target American servicemen and women. And they may or may not deny that they're involved, but they will target us and raise the price of our presence in the Middle East until they hope to completely pull us out of that region. They'll also continue to build long-range missiles, missiles capable of reaching the United States. Those are not affected by this deal, and they'll continue to build them as they've been doing. And then at some point in the near future, when the time is right, they will build a nuclear weapon. And they will do so because at that point, they will know that they have become immune, that we will no longer be able to strike their nuclear program because the price of doing so will be too high. This is not just a work of imagination. It exists in the world today. It's called North Korea, where a lunatic possesses dozens of nuclear weapons and a long-range rocket that can already reach the United States. And we cannot do anything about it. An attack on North Korea today would result in an attack on Tokyo or Seoul or Guam or Hawaii or California. And so the world must now live with a lunatic in possession of nuclear weapons. And this is the goal Iran has as well, to reach a point where they become immune to any sort of credible military threat because the price of a military strike would be too high. And then they become an established nuclear weapons power. And never in the history of the world has such a regime ever possessed weapons so capable of destruction. Iran is led by a supreme leader who is a radical Shia cleric with an apocalyptic vision of the future. He is not a traditional geopolitical actor who makes decisions on the basis of borders or simply history or because of ambitions. He has an religious apocalyptic vision of the future, one that calls for triggering a conflict between the non-Muslim world and the Muslim world, one that he feels especially obligated to trigger. And he's going to possess nuclear weapons. This is the world that we are on the verge of leaving our children to inherit. And perhaps we ourselves will have to share in it.
That is 11 years ago. He is incredibly articulate. He's got no notes. He's got no teleprompter. That is just him speaking off the cuff. I would give anything to see tonight in DC. How about a debate? Marco Rubio versus you name it. How about Liz Warren or Hakeem Jeffries? Hakeem Jeffries could go on there and say, we're going to fail and debate Marco Rubio or anybody in the Democrat Party. He has thought this through. They have thought this through. And that is the best case. That is the best case you will ever hear for not waiting, not saying, let's wait till they hit our bases or hit our allies with ballistic missiles. Let's wait till they build a nuke. That's why we had to do what we're doing. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it better. All right, that will do it. Ironhead is off on his honeymoon. Where are you going, Ironhead? Where are you?
I'm going to break a world record for a sunburn in Aruba.
Yeah, sunblock up, brother. You're going to Aruba. Good move, because I was thinking maybe Puerto Vallarta this time of year.
I'll avoid that for now.
That's the problem you're going to have. Everybody who was planning on going to Mexico has changed their plans and they're heading to Aruba. Pretty soon you'll be able to go to Venezuela or Iran. Pretty soon.
All the people kicks off in Venezuela again. I'll have a front row seat.
But Aruba's great because it's so Americanized and it's safe. You'll be safe. And, you're right. All you got to worry about is a really bad burn. So Sunblock up, brother. Have a good time.
Avoid the Vandersloots if I see any.
Have a good time. We'll see how your fill-ins do. I'm not full of confidence, but we will see how it goes. Have fun. Congratulations. You got married a long time ago, though, right?
Yeah, in September.
Yeah, good. This is a good time. I'd like to go with you. I'm so sick of winter. And I love Aruba. It's just everyone's the whole place is designed to accommodate Americans. That's what's great about it. Everyone speaks English. Everything's in U.S. You don't get nervous. You're not worried about the cartel moving in or gangs or anything like that. So have fun.
I will.
And that will do it for today. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we will do it again soon.
Hey, Mr. Tangerine Man, get rid of brown people for me. I'm Aryan White. There ain't no place I'm going to.